Every night used to be the same. I'd brush my teeth, set my alarm for 7 a.m., and slip beneath the covers at precisely 11. It was a comfortable routine, one I rarely questioned. The warmth of my bed, the gentle hum of my fan, the city's nighttime lull outside my window. Nothing ever broke that rhythm, until one morning I woke up on the cold tile of my hallway, fully clothed, shoes still on, keys in my pocket. It was as if I had gotten up to leave, but never made it out the door. My head throbbed with confusion, and there was a blankness where my memory should have been. No recollection of how I got there, just the lingering sense that my body had moved without me. At first, I tried to laugh it off. Maybe I'd been more tired than usual. Maybe some stress had gotten to me. But that night, as I lay in bed, sleep came in fits and starts. I drifted in and out, carried on strange tides of half-dreams. I saw blinking red lights, endless corridors stretching on forever. Shadows danced at the edge of my vision, and voices whispered in a language I couldn't understand, the words sounding like they were being played backwards. My limbs felt heavy, and I woke several times gasping for air, but each time I convinced myself it was just a bad dream. But then it happened again. I woke up in my bathtub, fully clothed, water still dripping from the faucet. The porcelain was cold against my skin, and my fingers were puckered and wrinkled. It was as if I'd been sitting there for hours. I stared at the water swirling down the drain, trying to piece together the missing hours. My mind raced. I started to wonder if I was sleepwalking, something I'd never done before. Desperate for answers, I set up my phone as a sleep cam, propping it on my nightstand and hitting record before I drifted off. I lay awake for a long time, staring at the ceiling, listening for any sign that the strangeness would return. Eventually, exhaustion pulled me under. The next morning, I felt groggy, my body heavy and sore. I rushed to the phone, heart pounding as I scrolled through the footage. What I saw made my skin crawl. There I was, lying in bed, peaceful at first. Then, around 2:13 a.m., my body stirred, but it wasn't a normal movement. My back arched at an unnatural angle, and I sat bolt upright, eyes wide open, but unfocused. I swung my legs over the side of the bed and stood up. My posture was wrong, too rigid, almost puppet-like. Then for 40 minutes, I just stood there, beside the bed, facing myself. My head tilted slightly, eyes fixed on my sleeping form. My face was completely blank. No expression, no blinking, just empty, staring. I didn't move, didn't sway, didn't breathe in any way that looked normal. It was as if something had pulled the person out of me and left only a shell behind. The footage ended with me lying back down, pulling the covers up with jerky, mechanical movements. Nothing else. I watched the clip over and over, searching for some explanation, hoping that maybe it was just a trick of the light or some camera glitch. But every time, I came back to that same haunting image. Myself, standing and watching. Not quite human. I couldn't keep it to myself anymore. I made an appointment with a sleep specialist, bringing the footage with me. The clinic was sterile and bright, filled with the quiet hum of machines. The doctor was kind, her voice soft as she asked about my routine, my stress levels, my family history. Then she watched the video, her brow furrowed as she leaned closer, replaying the eerie sequence. After a long silence, she looked at me, not with reassurance, but with uncertainty. This "This doesn't look like typical sleepwalking," she said. "It doesn't even look like you." Her words echoed in my mind. If it wasn't me, then who or what was moving my body through the night? That night I tried not to sleep. I kept the lights on, the TV playing quietly in the background, but eventually exhaustion overtook me. I woke to the sharp bite of gravel beneath my feet, the distant sound of early morning traffic. The sky was dark, just beginning to lighten on the horizon. I was standing in the middle of the street, barefoot. My heart hammered in my chest as I looked around. No memory of leaving my apartment. No idea how I'd gotten there. Shivering in the pre-dawn chill, I hurried back home, every shadow seeming to watch me. My hands trembled as I checked my phone, desperate to see if the camera had caught anything this time. I sat on the edge of my bed, staring at the screen as the footage played. Just like before, I watched myself rise from the mattress, body stiff and unnatural. I walked to the door, pausing for a moment as if listening to something only I could hear. Then, with slow, measured steps, I left the frame, but this time the video didn't end there. A few minutes after I left, the bedroom door creaked open again. Someone, or something, stepped inside. The figure's movements were wrong, too fluid, almost like water flowing across the floor. Its face was hidden in shadow, features shifting and indistinct. It climbed into my bed, pulling the covers up, settling in exactly where I had been lying moments before. The camera kept recording, and for the rest of the night the figure remained there, perfectly still, as if it was waiting for me to return. I turned off the video, my mind racing with questions I couldn't answer. What was happening to me? Who or what was sharing my body, my home, my life? And in the footage that night, someone else got into my bed. Sleep paralysis strikes in the dead of night, pinning him to his mattress with a terrifying weight. He can't move, can't speak. Only his eyes dart around the room, searching for escape. That's when he sees it. The shadow figure. It stands at the foot of his bed, blacker than the darkness, its form just out of focus, as if reality itself refuses to acknowledge its presence. Its gaze feels heavy, ancient, and impossibly cold. The room, once familiar, now feels like a stage for something unspeakable. Each night, the fear deepens. He begins to wake with mud caked on his feet, gritty and cold between his toes, as if he's been wandering outside while the world slept. Red marks rake across his chest, fresh scratches that sting with the memory of invisible claws. There are no explanations, just mounting dread. His phone, once a harmless companion, becomes a source of horror. He finds photos in his gallery that he never took, images of himself asleep in his bed, framed in eerie angles, sometimes with the shadowy figure looming just behind him. Each new discovery tightens the grip of fear, making every night a gamble against the monsters of the dark. Then the calls start. The doctor, his last hope for answers, disappears after reviewing the strange footage he captured. Her voice trembles in their final conversation, barely above a whisper. "There's something wrong with your sleep," she says. "Something ancient." Afterward, she vanishes without a trace, leaving a silence that echoes louder than any scream. Desperate for answers, he digs deeper, unearthing a forgotten ritual described in brittle, yellowed pages. The warning chills him to the bone. If another soul dreams through your shell, it stays. The words burn into his mind. He's not alone in his body. Something else is slipping in when he drifts to sleep, wearing his skin, walking in his world. The line between dreamer and dreambo blurs with every passing night. His journal, once a sanctuary for his thoughts, becomes a source of unease. He flips through the pages to find entries he doesn't remember writing, cryptic messages, frantic scrawls, and drawings of the shadow figure. The handwriting is his, but the words aren't. Sometimes the entries end mid-sentence, as if the writer was suddenly interrupted, or worse, taken. Determined to uncover the truth, he sets up a live mirror stream while he sleeps, hoping to catch whatever haunts his nights. The air is thick with tension as the clock ticks past midnight. Shadows stretch long across his bedroom walls. The camera's red light glows, recording every twitch, every breath. At 3:33 a.m., something changes. He rises from the bed, movement stiff and unnatural, as if pulled by invisible strings. But in the mirror, the reflection is wrong. The figure in the glass smiles, a slow, chilling twist of lips, while his real body remains motionless on the mattress. The realization slams into him with the force of a nightmare. He's not the dreamer. He's the dream. The thing in the mirror is awake, alive, and watching. He's trapped in a loop, a ghost in his own life, powerless to break free. He tries to scream, but his voice is lost in the void. The thing in the mirror turns, meeting his gaze with eyes that are both familiar and utterly alien. It knows everything about him, his fears, his secrets, his dreams. It is him, but twisted, corrupted by whatever darkness crossed over during his sleep. As days blur into nights, he loses track of what's real. He can't remember when he last truly woke up, or if he ever did. Every reflection becomes suspect. Mirrors, windows, even the darkened screen of his phone. Sometimes, his reflection moves just a fraction too late, or smiles when he does not. Sometimes, it blinks independently as if it's watching him from the other side. The boundary between watcher and watched dissolves. He writes in his journal, hoping to anchor himself. But the words slip away, replaced by scrawls in an unfamiliar hand. He tries to reach out, to friends, to family, but they say he sounds different, distant. Some avoid his calls, claiming they feel uneasy after talking to him. He wonders if they sense the truth, if they see the flicker of the intruder behind his eyes. The nights grow longer, the shadows deeper. He becomes a passenger in his own life, memories unraveling like threads in a dream. The thing that wears his face walks through his days, going to work, meeting friends, living his life while he watches helplessly from the other side. Sometimes, it leaves small reminders for him, muddy footprints by the door, cryptic messages on the bathroom mirror, photos of sleeping faces that aren't his. He clings to scraps of hope, searching for a way back, a way to reclaim his life. But the rules have changed. The old warning echoes in his mind. If another soul dreams through your shell, it stays. He understands now. He's the interloper, the echo, the shadow left behind. In the final moments, his voice cracks with resignation and fear. I don't know if I ever really woke up. I just know I'm the one watching now. The world flickers and glitches, reality slipping like static across a broken screen. The last thing he sees is the mirror, his own face staring back. And then, the impossible. The reflection blinks, slow and deliberate. While he remains perfectly still, a chill settles over the room. The silence is heavy, haunted by things unseen. Somewhere, A warning lingers, carved into the darkness. Be careful when going to bed. You might not be the one who wakes up.